Much of your success in leadership depends on whether other people think you are competent or not. Through my 12 plus years as a leadership coach, working mostly with people aiming for leadership positions, I've noticed that there are some mistakes that people make that can prevent them from being seen as competent when they actually are. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing 9 of those mistakes with you so they don't get in the way of you advancing in your career. First, we need to talk about your level of visibility at work, because a lot of the time people might think you are incompetent. It's because nobody knows who you are. If no one knows who you are, then how do you think this impacts your perceived level of competence? Well, people don't even get a chance to know what you know, basically because they don't know you exist. If they don't get a chance to know what you know, then they will just assume that you are incompetent. I'm not saying that this is fair, but it is a common theme that I have noticed with people that I've worked with. And if you're someone who prefers to be humble rather than show off, then this could be a big reason as to why you are continually being overlooked in the office, even though you have a higher level of knowledge and expertise than other people in the room. And when you try to be invisible, this means that you keep your knowledge to yourself in conversations with colleagues, in business meetings, and maybe even with your boss. You don't share what you know with other people around you. This often happens for 2 reasons. The first is you don't want to be a show-off, therefore you keep your knowledge to yourself. And the second reason is you think your knowledge is obvious and everyone knows it anyway, so what is the point of sharing it? If you can relate to either of these reasons, let me know in the comments below. Now, when you hide your knowledge and you don't share it with other people around you, for whatever reason that is, how do you think this impacts your perceived level of competence? Not in a good way, right? If you are holding back your knowledge because you don't want to be labeled a show-off, then nobody will ever know what you know and you'll continually be overlooked at work. And if you're holding back because you think what you know is obvious and other people know it anyway, well, invariably someone is going to jump into the conversation and share that exact knowledge that you have, and they will get all of the credit and the recognition instead of you, and the visibility as well. So I encourage you to start sharing your knowledge, share what you know with other people around you, and you will definitely see some positive results in terms of your visibility. Another area where I see people hold back from sharing their knowledge is in discussions and debates. And I do understand this one, because discussions and debates, they can be a bit intimidating depending on who you are with. Let's say you're in a discussion with senior leaders in your company, people who have more experience and perhaps more knowledge than you. A big part of you in that discussion will be scared of sharing what you know. You might be worried about saying the wrong thing. You might be worried about sounding unintelligent. And as a result, you might be worried that your boss will be questioning your value in the company and questioning whether you were actually the right hire. So you hold back and you don't say anything at all in that meeting. And then in debates, there are other issues. What stops you here is usually fear of confrontation. What if you can't argue your points? What if you can't convince and persuade other people to your way of thinking? These can be higher level communication skills, more challenging communication skills that not everybody has, unless you have grown up in a family environment that has encouraged that and supported that, or unless you have actually gone out on your own and learnt it somewhere through a book or through coaching or through courses. So whether you avoid sharing what you know in meetings because you're with senior people and you're intimidated by them, or whether you are in a debate and you don't speak up because you have that fear of confrontation, regardless, what do you think happens when you stop speaking up, when you don't share what you know? Well, it damages your perceived level of competence. I just want to jump in here and let you know that I've created a list of videos that you'll find in the description below that will help you reverse these bad habits that can prevent people from thinking you are competent. So once you finish this video, check out the description below to find the other videos I'm talking about. Now, how many of you are guilty of this one? You let people explain things to you that you already know. So let's say you are in a conversation with a colleague and they are talking about the sales process. They don't realize that you've actually had 10 years of experience in your previous job doing sales. So they continue to teach you about the sales process, thinking that you have no knowledge in that area. If you were in this situation, how many of you would stop that person and say, oh, hey, actually, I worked in sales for 10 years, so I'm really familiar with the sales process. I mean, how many of you would actually say that in the conversation? If you're somebody who would just let them talk and teach you all about the sales process, even though you have an immense amount of knowledge in that area, then your inaction is contributing to your perceived level of competence or level of incompetence, if that's the case. Basically, what I'm saying here is by you doing nothing, by you saying nothing to the other person, you're allowing them to think that you are incompetent in that area. So the fix to this is, you guessed it, yes, speak up more. Tell that person you already have knowledge in that area or you already have experience in that area. So don't be shy and tell people about your knowledge, your experience, and your expertise. Probably the reason you let people explain things to you that you already know is because you're too nice to stop them and to tell them the truth. So you let them keep talking, you let them explain that thing to you, and while they're doing that, you pretend that you don't have knowledge in that area. You pretend you are learning something for the very first time, all because you were too nice to stop them and to correct them. This reminds me of a book I read a number of years ago called Nice Girls Don't Get the Corner Office by Lois P. Frankel, in which she lists 101 behaviors that women make that prevent them from climbing up into the C-suite. Now, after working with both male and female leaders for a number of years, I can confidently say that these behaviors are not limited to women. If you are somebody who is more reserved, if you are timid, if you are modest in your demeanor and in your behavior, then you are probably guilty of at least some of these mistakes that she lists in this book. Now, I don't recommend that you just stop being nice because you want people to think that you are more competent, but I do encourage you to make some shifts in your communication and in your behavior as well. So try to be more assertive when you communicate to other people. Try to show more confident behavior, confident body language, and be more confident in yourself and in your knowledge and in your expertise as well, because you've been working a long time to get where you are, and I guarantee you know a lot more than you actually think you know. So confidence and assertiveness, these will help you set boundaries, that will help you set expectations with other people you're working with, and this will help you to establish a certain level of perceived level of competence with those people. Basically, instead of them thinking you are incompetent, they will start to think that you are a competent professional. Before we continue on with this video, I want to thank everyone who has become a channel member. I'm so grateful for you supporting me and supporting my channel and the growth of my channel as well. If you are not yet a channel member and you want to know what it's about, then take a look in the description below, because I have a link which will take you to my channel member page on YouTube, and there's a video you can watch that explains a whole lot more. On top of things that you can do yourself to get people to think you are competent, you can also encourage or enlist other people to help you in this effort. And one of the things that I would recommend you to do is to encourage people to vouch for you at work. What I mean by vouch for you is this is about getting other people, your colleagues, to talk about you, to talk about your knowledge, your expertise, and your accomplishments to other people in the office. What does this do? Well, it builds social proof that you are a competent person. But the thing here is people will not often go out of their way to just do this. So you really need to start this process yourself by actually vouching for your colleagues first. So when it's appropriate, say something like, I know Jennifer has a high level of knowledge in this area and clients were really impressed with her work. And then after saying that, Jennifer will be happy you actually promoted her and helped her become more visible in the office and in the team. And she might even return the favor for you. Now, I can't promise that everyone will return the favor if you do this, but it is at least it's worth a try. Now, tying in with the previous point, another reason why people think you are incompetent when you are not is because your boss doesn't publicly acknowledge your efforts, but they do acknowledge the efforts of other people in the team, usually people who are louder, who are more visible, and who are more prominent than you. You have to remember that even though you would love for your boss to notice everything that you do at work, the reality is they are busy, and a lot of the time they will probably simply overlook the accomplishments or the things that you have achieved in the office for the team. So it's really up to you. It's your responsibility to highlight these things to your boss. So during one-on-one meetings, you need to tell them what you've achieved. In group meetings with your team, you need to share what you have been working on and what you have achieved as well. And even by email, you can simply send them an email and just let them know about some accomplishments that you have made in the office. If your boss is aware of these things because you've told them about these accomplishments, then they're much more likely to talk about them publicly, which is going to bring attention to your level of competence. And when your boss starts to respect you as a competent professional, you might start to see people approaching you for help. If this happens, you should be so proud because it's a big sign that your reputation as a competent professional is starting to spread and that you are reversing the image that you are incompetent. But on the flip side, if no one ever comes to you for help, then that's a sign that you need to do more work on your perceived level of competence or on your actual level of competence as well. Much of what I shared in this video revolves around your level of confidence. If you are invisible in the office, if you don't share what you know, if you avoid discussions or debates, or if you're guilty of number 4 and 5, which you see on the screen right now, then these are signs that you are lacking confidence in some way. This then filters down to number 6, 7, and 8 that we talked about in this video, which really leaves you in a situation where your reputation of competence is in question. But what is interesting here is all of this can be avoided if you actually learn how to be confident and if you project confidence outwardly to other people. Why am I saying this? Well, because confidence and competence, they are closely linked. And if you are confident about something, if people see you as a confident person, then they will assume that it's because you have something to be confident about, meaning that you have a high level of competence, and that is why you are projecting so much confidence. So I encourage you to start learning how to project confidence, even if you don't feel it inside. And a great starting point for that is to learn how to speak like a confident leader, which you will learn in this video right up here. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you got a lot of value from it, some ideas on how you can get people to think you are more competent at work, and I will see you next week in another video.